Hello, this is Zahil Alam. Welcome you all on Frankly Speaking. My guest today is Baroness Verma, British International Development Minister, who is visiting Bangladesh now. Baroness Verma, she was appointed Parliamentary Under Secretary of State at the Department of International Development on 13th May this year, 2015. She is a conservative member of the House of Lords. In 2006, she was raised to the peerage as Baroness Verma of Leicester in the county of Leicestershire. Prior to becoming the Parliamentary Under Secretary of State for DECC, Baroness Verma was spokesperson for Cabinet Office. And Baroness Verma was born in Punjab, India, and moved to UK with her parents when she was 1 year old. She lives in Leicester with her husband and has a daughter and a son. We welcome Baroness Verma on Frankly Speaking. Welcome. This is a very short visit in Bangladesh, and you have already met some of the stakeholders, and you are already experienced some of the programs which have been undertaken by the DFID in Bangladesh. So what are the visiting experience you have experienced so far in Bangladesh?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say a big thank you to Bangladesh community who've given me a wonderful warm welcome. And I've seen a number of programs that we work with Bangladesh NGOs and organisations on, and all of those that we have visited in the 2.5 days I've been here have given me great hope that working together collaboratively, that Bangladesh UK share a great partnership, that we're able to share knowledge, best practice, but I've seen some fantastic people in my visit here. They've been uplifting.
Let's have a glimpse on some of your experience, the persons and the organizations you have met so far here in Bangladesh.
Perfect. Well, I started off by I went to the CRP yesterday, where I saw a lot in Safa, where I saw a lot of fantastic people who were working very hard to help people with disabilities. And the way that the work is being done is not just to give them aids, but also to help them rebuild their lives and give them skills, so that when they are out there, they're able to earn livelihoods for themselves, maintain their own personal space. And I think that was really, really important, because what we don't want to do is to hide away people with disability, and we need to recognize that disability is something that doesn't stop you from reaching your full potential, and that disability is nothing that somebody has done to themselves, that it is part and parcel of either being born with a disability or, unfortunately, through circumstance, gaining a disability. What I found here was that people had a positive attitude towards making sure that people with disabilities, whether they are physical or non-visible disabilities, are not going to be left behind because they have a disability. I then went on to meet some very brave women who had been victims of acid attacks and were survivors. I can't tell you how brave these women have been. Again, they are not going to hide away from the communities. They are living in the communities. They want to have full-fledged lives. So they were there, and the Acid Survivors Foundation are working very closely with them. And again, we're really pleased that we've been DFID Bangladesh have been able to be supportive. The UK government has been supportive of that work. And then, going on to that, we've met people that we're supporting the MFJ.
Okay, Manushya Jonna Foundation.
Exactly. And again, it was really heartening to see that through that organisation and the reach out that they have over many other organisations, that, we are reaching marginalised groups. And those marginalised groups have got a voice. They're looking at what their rights are, what their access to opportunity is, what their access to education and healthcare is, what their access to the skill sets are, and the challenges that they face and how they are trying to overcome those challenges, and how we, in partnership with Bangladesh government and these organisations, can actually help to get them supported. And of course, you know, today, this morning, I was at USEP, a fantastic institution, again, very much focused on the skills agenda, and it was fabulous to see, particularly young girls, doing non-traditional skills in engineering, and to be able to hear their stories of what their ambitions were. And again, if I could just finish on this one note, one girl wanted to actually be a motor mechanic, and you know, it was just very heartening to know that she had the ambition to do that.
Definitely, and you have already been impressed with the people you met. But I mean, UK has always been consistently committed to support Bangladesh. Definitely, we are very convinced with that position. But I mean, the amount or degree of support you're extending to Bangladesh to lift people out of poverty and to empowering people ranging from disability and other girls living in many areas of the country. So how efficiently these programs being carried out in Bangladesh from DFID and the other organ of UK government?
Well, I think, first of all, you're right to highlight that we do share a very close relationship with Bangladesh. It's a long, historic relationship. And I think the work that I've seen demonstrated in that partnership has been one where we are seeing some fabulous results. You know, I mean, working over the last nearly 5 years, we've seen 1.5 million people being lifted out of extreme poverty. You know, I mean, it's fantastic to know that that's happened. However, there are still far too many people living in extreme poverty, and there are still too many people living in poverty. So what we've got to do is to make sure that that outreach, that support, whether it's from DFID or other donor countries or the Bangladesh government itself, is working closely with organisations that are delivering on the ground. Those grassroots organisations that are working every single day on the ground, making that difference, they need to make sure, there needs to be an assurance, of course, that that work continues.
But one thing that we know that the British government and DFID in Bangladesh is also committed to work together with Bangladesh government and other organizations in our country to build a prosperous, stable country. But in terms of, I mean, overall situation of the country, is that conducive to steer through all the developmental projects or programs for the coming days?
Well, look, I'm really proud that the UK has been the largest bilateral programme with Bangladesh. We have invested well over £240 million in the last 4 or 5 years in programmes with Bangladesh. We are seeing positive outcomes with that work. You know, what we do need to do is to make sure that at the back of all the work we're doing, Bangladesh achieved successfully the MDGs. Okay. We now have a new set of goals, the SDGs. The theme running through the SDGs is that we need to leave no one behind. It's really important that that message is bedded in all of our programs, whether it's the UK funded programs or other donor programs. The UK has always put girls and women at the heart of all of their programs. That is a centre of what we want to deliver. So all of the DFID programs will have that at the core. We've also made sure that disability in our programs is very much in focus, so that our programs will reflect the needs and rights of people with disability. So I think from our point of view, we are working very much in ensuring that we deliver from the UK perspective. What of course we will try and do is work very closely with our partners to ensure that not only do we lift 1.5 million people, but actually extend to lifting particularly those who are living in extreme poverty.
Okay. Baroness Varma, you have been working with many stakeholders in Bangladesh. So what are the other programs to improve, to the capacity of the civil society, or to improve the governance in Bangladesh, or how to confront the corruption, the prevailing situation in Bangladesh? Is that something that you are impressed with, the way Bangladesh is moving forward to challenge these issues in Bangladesh, including corruption?
Well, I think first of all, the Prime Minister, my Prime Minister, Prime Minister Cameron, has been very clear that what he wants to make sure is that whatever work we do, it has got to be very transparent. And so our programs, every program that we fund, is available for everyone to see online through the Gov portal. We have been very clear that people working with us have to be equally transparent, and so that the work that they deliver must be able to stand up to the scrutiny and the transparency that we expect of all programs. And this has been something that not only has the Prime Minister been clear on this term, but he was clear on it from when we were in government from 2010. So I think one of the things that we must do to ensure others to follow the same pattern is to be able to help them with their good governance structures. And that is something that we do work very closely with all our partners, to ensure that they're working on the same high standards and levels of integrity that we put through our programs.
In your view as an international development minister, what are the vital challenges for countries like Bangladesh? How to confront those challenges?
I think the need for all of us to be able to be due diligent, to be able to measure up to scrutiny, and that is an onus on all of us. So when we come and do partnership programs with our civil society partners, with government, our expectation is that we will work and exchange the practices that we expect of our programs elsewhere. In the UK, we know that given that we have got the 0.7% bedded into legislation, that we have got to be very accountable to the British public. The British public demand that the money is well spent, and therefore it is absolutely right and proper that we as the British government are able to be accountable for that money. And our programs therefore need to have the stringent integrity checks that we impose upon them.
There has been a rising significant concern about the emergence of religious extremism, terrorism around the world, and Bangladesh is not out of this purview. So how the global community or the UK and Bangladesh together for fighting those menacing problems?
Well, you rightly pointed out this is a global issue, and so you rightly are pointing out that the question is, how do we globally respond to it? And I think that working closely together, as we do on a range of issues, we share a very close relationship with Bangladesh, and so therefore it is absolutely crucial and right that we share with our partners and more widely with our global partners as much information as we can to try and ensure that we collectively are responding to the threats that you've raised.
Well, there are huge number of British Bangladeshi diaspora living in UK. So how you look at their roles and how they are contributing to the development of British society, and also for the country, country of origin, how they are feeling about their country of origin.
Well, I must say we have a vibrant diaspora. The Bangladeshi diaspora is very vibrant in the UK, and fortunately for us, they are huge contributors to the GDP too. They are an entrepreneurial community, and you only have to, you don't have to go very far to know that we cannot live without the Bangladeshi community, who provide us with the best Asian food that is going in the UK. And I'm sure you would have heard that we have huge award nights around curries and kebabs and things like that. But I think what we need to do is celebrate the fact that the Bangladeshi community have put a very positive footprint into the UK. They are very much part and parcel of the wider community, and we have huge contributions. And politically, of course, we do have some very prominent politicians from the Bangladeshi community at local government level.
Okay. Whereas Burma, you have accomplished a lot from growing in an Asian origin family to entering politics to becoming a UK minister now. So how does it feel? I mean, I mentioned at the beginning that you were born in Punjab at the age of 1, you just moved to UK, and now you're a frontline politician in UK. How does it feel?
Well, first of all, if I can say that it's a privilege to be able to represent your country, to be able to say that I was born in Amritsar and travelled across to the UK as a baby and have got the opportunity in a country that enables everyone, if they want to have to share their potential and fulfil it, they can. And I think we should really express our ambitions for everyone to be able to have a dream, which I've always said. I had a dream, I wanted to be a politician. And I've managed to fulfill it.
Okay, but I read one of the articles that your mother wanted you to be a doctor.
Yes.
And you started business very early.
Yes, well, my Asian parents always want their children to be doctors or engineers. So unfortunately, because I was born in a very conservative Punjabi family, my father wouldn't or didn't want me to go to university. It was a case of reaching 18 and getting married, which is why I've been a strong advocate for trying to push the barriers down so that people can have choices and girls can have choices, which is why I was so pleased when I was appointed the government's ministerial champion for tackling violence against girls and women just a few days ago by the Prime Minister, because these issues really matter to me. And whilst my father was a very strict Punjabi, he was also my greatest strength, because I think families shape you. And although he wouldn't let me go to university and he challenged everything I did, I challenged everything he challenged me on. It made me a very strong, tough person. I knew what I wanted to do. So not being allowed to go to university meant that I had to do something else. So my father was from business, so I decided to set up a business, basically to show him that I could do a better business than he could do.
Oh, okay, fantastic. But you were talking about the challenges of the women folks in Bangladesh and some of the amazing stories you have heard and witnessed here in Bangladesh. So, as a minister, Asian origin minister, what are the challenges or hurdles you had faced so far in your, moving forward in your journey toward a minister?
Yeah, I mean, look, the journeys in politics are never easy, and if you're a woman, they're even harder. And if you're a woman of an ethnic minority, they get even harder. So I'm not going to say that it was an easy journey. It wasn't. It was a very difficult journey. I had no political background, so I had to make my way from point zero. What I did find, though, was that within the political system, there were very good people who were going to offer great support to me. And I sort of worked on the great support and ignored basically those people who wanted to get in my way. But these systems need to have diversity of people. And I've constantly said that what I really want to see is many more women coming into politics, many more women from diverse backgrounds coming into politics, because the debate then becomes much more interesting and much more reflective of how our lives are governed. So whether it's in Bangladesh or whether it's in the UK, I don't think there is enough presence of women in politics. So I think that would be something that I've constantly advocated, and I continue to advocate, that we do need to see leadership from the top to encourage more women to come into politics, but to give them the opportunities. I mean, I've been very lucky that I've had the opportunity to serve. Nearly 10 years of my political life have been on the front benches, and have been able to bring changes because of that opportunity.
If I ask you frankly, what are the strengths for Bangladesh or weaknesses so far you have?
What are the strengths? I see great opportunity. You have a very vibrant young population. I think the young population, if it's given its full potential, will deliver a great economy. I think what I'd love to see much more of is that there is a growth amongst the more high-skilled end of the market, so that the Bangladeshi community can really deliver on the sort of high knowledge, high-tech sectors as well. But I haven't seen enough of Bangladesh. I'd love to visit and actually see much more of Bangladesh, meet more of the people. I've thoroughly enjoyed the food here, and I think that my visit, be it short, has exposed me to the great warmth of the people of Bangladesh, and the great opportunities that exist here, as long as the environments are created for them to exist in.
Which one is most critically important, development or democracy, for nations like Bangladesh?
You can't have one without the other. I think both are equally important. It's like saying, are men important and women not? Both are important, and without both of them, unfortunately, progress can't be made. So it's really important to have both.
What is the message for the women folk in Bangladesh?
I think what my message for everyone is, particularly for the women, is that if you think you can do something, then find the support and go out and do it, because it will make your country great.
And you were working for fighting climatic changes, and Bangladesh is also very vulnerable to the catastrophic consequence of the climate change. So how supportive is the international community for Bangladesh?
I think the international community, whilst they're at COP21 Paris discussing these issues, must recognise that climate change is going to impact and affect all of us. And therefore, every single country has a duty and a responsibility to ensure that they are not just individually at their own countries looking at the country's growth, but their response also to resilience and their response to how to cut back on the emissions. But that is part of being a part of the big global world we live in. We do have a responsibility to each other.
Minister, you visited Bangladesh in 2008, and this is possibly the second time. What memory you are carrying back home?
Well, my memory will be that this was a very short visit, and when am I coming back?
Okay, thank you. You are welcome again to Bangladesh. Thank you so much for joining me on Frankly Speaking.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Dear viewers, that's all our discussion with Minister Baroness Varma, British International Development Minister, and we thank you indeed for watching this program, and we invite you to watch our next episode. Until then, do take care and goodbye.